Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Today is a historic day that has huge implications for stimulus and stocks going forward. If you have not yet heard, I'm going to give a quick recap and then we'll talk about stimulus and we'll talk about what this means for stocks. The stock market is going nutso today. If you have not yet heard, Pfizer, in partnership with BioNTech, has reached over 90% effectiveness for their vaccine trial against COVID. Normal virus vaccines are only 65 to 75% effective. With 43,538 study participants and no serious safety concerns observed, we are within 1.5 weeks of this vaccine receiving FDA emergency use authorization. 50 million vials will be available by the end of 2020, with over 1 billion vials available for humanity throughout 2021. The vaccine will be available for free, per Pfizer. Pfizer, by the way, did not take any research money from Operation Warp Speed. It's the only frontrunner who did not take money from the government. And this comes as Moderna was giving us unfortunate news that we might not hear of any kind of emergency use approval until February or March. This comes way ahead of schedule, and this is absolutely phenomenal news. This also comes as the pandemic is taking a turn for the worst when we are all completely over this pandemic. France and Germany are substantially fearful that an unsustainable spread of the virus will continue to inundate their hospitals. Reports are that patients in hospitals in France are being sorted through the hallways because there are no rooms left for people. It's absolutely terrible. Utah has instituted mask mandates for the entire state of Utah. Housing Secretary Ben Carson just tested positive for COVID, and the president of the Ukraine, who was very much popularized for his phone call with Donald Trump, where Donald Trump was accused of misdeeds, has also tested positive for COVID, just 1 week after Mark Meadows tested positive. So that's the president of Ukraine that just tested positive. However, folks, today is an absolutely incredible day for humanity. We can finally go back to normal soon. The light is now at the end of the tunnel, and I am so happy. I'm so excited. This is really, really a great day. So what does this mean for stimulus and stocks? Well, on stimulus, Biden is already preparing a COVID relief package. Bloomberg reported yesterday that Biden expects to strike a COVID relief deal with Mitch McConnell if Donald Trump does not during the lame duck session. That means at the very latest, we should expect stimulus by the end of January, if not early February, in sort of the worst case. This will very likely be a bipartisan package, and the news of this vaccine will likely reduce the size of the package, as we'll be able to reduce the length of the package. However, I do still expect that because this vaccine, and for us to get to full mass inoculation, is still going to be a 6 to 7 month away thing, especially after first responders get their vaccine, and then those at high risk get their vaccine, and then we start moving into the rest of the population, we're still going to need COVID relief. We're still going to expect stimulus payments, enhanced unemployment pay, stimulus business funding, like additional PPP funding, obviously money for schools. We're in the midst still of this pandemic. We are still in the midst, and the worst part ahead of us between now and likely February. Now, some money for vaccine research in the next COVID relief package is likely going to be reduced or diverted from vaccine research over to manufacturing and distributing, but we will be able to shorten the life cycle or the expense cycle of some of the relief measures, which could be just what we need to finally get Republicans and Democrats on board. On top of this, as if news just couldn't get even better, additionally, the Senate appropriators will already be releasing 12 fiscal 2021 spending bills on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. This is way ahead of schedule, given that we have the December 11th fiscal cliff coming up, and many of us were thinking guaranteed we're heading for another government shutdown. But the Senate is already releasing 12 individual bills, which they usually tie together in a beautiful bundled up package to keep the government funded and pass a budget for 2021. This shows that the Senate is already ready to negotiate with House Democrats, despite the fact that, well, we are in a lame duck session of Congress when usually little gets done. Also, folks, if you were fortunate enough to be awake this morning and you had Webull, which remember you could always get 3 free stocks with Webull when you deposit $100, you would have been able to trade in the pre-market hours some of this action. The market today is insane. Dave & Buster's up 41%. Cinemark 39%. AMC 60%. Wynn Resorts, 25%. Simon Property Group, 24%. I mean, this is insane. Every single recovery stock, because this came out of nowhere, is massively up today. Disney, 10%. JP Morgan, 11%. And then, of course, that money's got to come from somewhere, right? We can't just print new money, so look where it's coming from. Bye-bye, Wayfair, Peloton, Zoom. Purple even got whacked, even though Purple's been way up. A lot of these, obviously, way up from when we've been buying them. But all of the tech stocks, the Zillow, the Beyond Meat, the PayPal, all of these guys just whacked today. Absolutely whacked. Even Amazon's down a little bit. Tesla's up slightly today at about 1.75%. This is huge, though, because it provides the light at the end of the tunnel that the stock market wants. The stock market prices stocks at least a year out. That's well within pricing for the vaccine. This is no surprise. These companies are going to have to walk through hell to get to the end of this pandemic, though. They've got a lot of debt to work off, but folks, this is such great news, and I'm going to be working on a strategy the rest of the day to try to come up with exactly what to do. My expectation is that the only way these recovery stocks will pull back is if there's any sort of bad news with this vaccine emergency use authorization over the next 1.5 weeks. But if we get that emergency use authorization over the next 1.5 weeks, expect these vaccine-related stocks to jump even more. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and for your continued support. Please consider sharing this video, and folks, we'll see you next time.